Did you know New Mutants was this good? Because I sure didn't. This is part 22 of reading every X-Men comic ever, and this time I read the New Mutants graphic novel, as well as the first 3 issues of the original run. And I also returned to Dazzler with issues 25 through 31. Let me know what you think of these issues in the comments below. In The New Mutants, a reluctant Xavier is convinced by Moira to help out a bunch of teenagers. Rain Sinclair, Roberto DaCosta, Sam Guthrie, Danny Moonstar, and Jeanne Coy-Mon, all of whom have recently discovered their powers and are being targeted by Hellfire Club's resident cyborg for anti-mutant and power grab reasons. Moving on to the actual run of New Mutants, with the first 3 issues, which picks up pretty much right where the graphic novel ended, with all the kids now living at the mansion. The kids have a rough first morning after the accidental usage of some powers, and later Xavier introduces them to the Danger Room. After Danny chickens out on her turn and runs off, the rest of the crew head to the mall and watch a movie, get arrested by the Sunglasses Brigade, and fight some Sentinels to a surprisingly good degree. Meanwhile, Danny decides to give the Danger Room another shot, but her training is interrupted when the floor is switched to the evil alien swamp setting. Later that night, Danny is losing her mind to nightmares of the Brood. These visions then spread to the rest of reality, making her realize that she is both the culprit and the victim, and that there is something amiss in the mansion. This was a great first batch. I love how we are setting up all the different plot threads away, and honestly, I'm a sucker for a teenage super team, and this is really scratching that itch, even only 3 issues in. 8 out of 10 for the whole batch, including the graphic novel. These are great. Unfortunately, I then had to go back to Dazzler, which continues. Daz deals with her first ever stalker, and as you can imagine, he is uber delusional and tries to kill her, and her father, and his boss, and vows that he will return. We then get a multi-issue arc where Daz's sister Lois gets assaulted by a homeless guy, and in the scuffle manifests her mutant power, and thinking she killed the guy, goes to Daz for help, and the pair go on the run. They eventually land in LA, where a butler blackmails them into trying to kill his boss. The said boss turns out to be Lois's estranged father, and it turns out the homeless guy died of a heart attack, so everything is coming up Lois. Daz, on the other hand, is not having a great time because for some reason Rogue also decides to appear and is pissed that Daz keeps beating her. So the two fight, and so Alison Blair puts Rogue in her place once and for all, and then stuffs her in the trunk. After all that, Daz decides to stay in LA and gets a taste of fame as she meets with a big star who is actually a balding old fat man in a disguise. But their meeting is cut short when the plane they're in gets shot at by a fighter jet. With no other options, Daz shoots down the plane, saves everyone, and after the incident, she gets into an argument and leaves for San Diego. The army follows her and unleashes a new device which is supposedly make mutant powers uncontrollable, but it just turns one of them into Barney the Angry Purple Dinosaur, which Allison has to then defeat. She then heads back to LA and officially moves in, but loses her manager because he's still based in New York. She also finds a new guy, but he realized that he needs therapy after Daz tanks a tsunami wave, and that ends the relationship. I've said this before, but this series' main attribute is that it's consistent with its quality. That quality is pretty mediocre, but at least it's consistent. 5 of the 7 issues I read this time are getting 6 out of 10, with issues 27 and 28 are the only 2 7 out of 10s. Next week I'll go back to Team Up Hell with, well, more Marvel Team Up, and also the Micronauts.